Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Legendary Leaders. I am your host, Katrina Jameson, the owner and founder of Legend Leaders, where we arm you with the knowledge and the strategies you need to create, run, and grow your own business. We have been talking about, in the month of June, selling. The whole month of June is dedicated to selling, and I want to arm you with the knowledge you need to sell. Because as we talked about last week, if you're not really selling anything, you don't have a business. You have a hobby. And if you want to have a hobby, that's cool. We all have hobbies. But if you have a business and you want it to be successful, I want you to make it successful and I want to help you do that. So, that said, today I want to talk about having someone feel the need to buy your product or your service. Now, last week we talked about the fact that what you want to do is you want to serve, right? You've got to get out of your head, out of your own way, and you have to show up serving your customer. Today, I want to talk about the fact that you need to jump right on in and not provide a soft sale and not have them think about things and confuse them. But what I want you to do instead is really help them feel what that feeling is going to be like when they have that problem solved. That's how you're going to serve them. Now, you're thinking, what do you mean by that? And so I will tell you this. Let's walk through this for a second. If you provide a soft sell like we said we were not going to do last week, but let's say that you're going down that pathway right now, you're still trying to get out of that bad habit, then a soft sale typically ends with the conversation of, well, what do you think about that? Well, do you think you might be interested? Would you consider trying some of that today? It's making someone pause and go, I don't know. Do I? Do I want that? Do I need that? Versus when you sit down and you're serving them, what you do consistently is find their pain point. Now, that may sound hateful, it may sound rude, it may sound even a little disrespectful, but I can tell you that your goal when you're having a conversation about selling, okay, and I'm going to say selling, but it's really serving, okay? We mean serving, but I'm going to say the word selling so that we can understand what we're trying to accomplish at the end of the day. Our mindset needs to be serving, but the action and the end result is that you made a sale, okay? So when you show up and you're trying to serve and therefore sell someone on your product or your service, what you're trying to do is understand what their pain point is. What is their problem? What's their issue? What are they struggling with? What do they need you to solve? Because we all have problems. That's the point of why we buy something, right? You know, I always go back to like the Swiffer Sweeper commercials. What's the problem? I have dust, right? And I don't want to have dust in my house anymore. That's my problem. It's very simple. If you watch any advertisement on TV, they're solving a problem. And so does your product and so does your service. Your goal is to try to figure out what the problem is for your potential client or customer. And then you want to understand how that problem makes them feel. Because at the end of the day, what you want to be able to do is not a soft sell. Well, what do you think about that? Because what you've done is when you identify the problem that they're having, when you take them into their emotions of feeling the pain of their problem and really identifying with it, and then you say, what do you think about solving it? Then they go from the emotion and the feeling to the brain. Well, the brain usually is going to say, don't buy that. Don't waste your money. Don't. Right? The brain is there to keep you safe. What you want to do, and this is just how it works, right? This is how we buy as humans, is you want to have them, again, understand what the problem is, feel the pain of their problem, because think about it. I'm not saying go and make them feel the pain of a heartbreak or, a divorce or anything like that. That may be your industry and your business. And if it is, that's fine. But what I'm talking about in this example is the Swiffer Sweeper. The pain is the fact that I have dust in my house. It's painful. I don't want to have dust in my house. I don't want to have a dirty house. I don't want my children around, in a dirty house. I want my house to be clean. And so in order to have me purchase the Swiffer Sweeper, I need to feel the pain of having dust in my home and feeling like the only way I can resolve that pain and that problem is by purchasing the Swiffer Sweeper. It's that simple. It's not that complex. You're trying to achieve the same thing. But the Swiffer Sweeper commercial doesn't come out and say, So, what do you think about buying a Swiffer sweeper? It doesn't. It says, you have this problem. You don't want a dirty house. Don't you just feel bad when you have a dirty house? Well, we can help you feel better. Buy our Swiffer sweeper. That's what you're trying to achieve in your sales calls. So a soft sale will typically take the person out of their emotions and put them in the logical side of, well, what do you think? It's typically what happens. We ask a what do you think type of question. Or are you interested? Or how about maybe one day you might? It's very, very soft. What you want to be able to do is help them understand that the pain they're feeling with the problem that they have is a pain that you can solve. And that's why it's okay to help them feel that pain again, because you want them to feel the pain and then realize how amazing it's going to feel when the problem's solved, right? Whether it's a dirty house with dust, or maybe it's the divorce example that I gave. Maybe it's just a simple fact of teaching you how to speed read, right? There's all kinds of things that are out there for sale. Whatever the answer is, the pain is something they need to feel. Because when they feel it, that drives them. That's the emotional driver to have them purchase from you. And a lot of individuals don't want to put the customer in that point of pain. They feel like it's disrespectful. They feel as though it's deceptive. They go back to that used car salesman mentality. But here's the difference. What you're doing, remember we talked about it last week, is you're serving. You know that your product or service can absolutely deliver. You wouldn't be selling it if it couldn't. That's just not the way that you work, and that's not the integrity that you provide. You have the highest level of integrity. And so when you sit down with a potential customer and you help understand what their problems are, when you say, we can solve that problem, you're acting with integrity. You know that you can. And so therefore you will. And what you want to do is help them purchase the promise of alleviating the pain. It's not even your product. It's not even your service. It's the alleviation of the pain. That's what they're buying. But they're not going to buy it if it's not some sort of pain. And I will tell you that even whenever people want to purchase expensive cars or jewelry or anything that's sort of a luxury, even in those moments, it's the pain of, someone else has it, I don't, or seeing themselves driving down the road in that car in their minds, and then the pain of walking out of the dealership and not having that amazing vehicle because they've already tied part of themselves to that vehicle. And we do that all the time, okay? And so the problem then becomes not having all the enjoyment and excitement and, freedom that they believe that vehicle would provide, okay? Or whatever, the level of significance, whatever need that it would meet, they're now missing out on it. And so I just want you to think about that. That's the next level about why we don't soft sell. It's the next level in we have to have the service mentality, because when we think serving, now we're going to go serve by solving the problem. Well, how do I solve the problem, Katrina? What does that look like? And I just walk you through it. You help them acknowledge the pain and then help them purchase a resolution to the pain. Now, if your product or service can't resolve that pain, then act with integrity and let them know, hey, this is not going to work for you, but let me help you find something that will. If you can do that, do it, okay? But act with integrity, and when you do that, again, you're not selling, you're serving because you're helping them solve the problem. That's what I want you to think about today. Let's take your selling, okay, serving and selling to the next level. Identify the problem, have them feel the emotion of the problem, help them understand that the purchase of your product, if it's true, if it will solve their problem, if it will alleviate that pain, help them understand that purchasing your product or service will eliminate the pain, the suffering that they're going through. And when you can help them understand that and confidently overcome those objections, then they're going to purchase whatever you're selling. Okay? Ask yourself, is that how you're operating today? Or are you helping avoid the pain? Because if you're avoiding the pain, then they're going to avoid the pain, and then there's no leverage to cause them to want to purchase what you're offering. The pain, for a short period of time, is a leverage, and they have to feel it in order to resolve it. I know that makes sense, but keep listening to me. Come back and play it a few times if you're trying to put it together. I know that you're super smart, though, so I just listen to the podcast quite a few times because I like for it to sink in. So feel free, if you've got questions on serving, selling, no soft sales, feeling the pain a little bit to have them purchase to alleviate the pain, reach out to me. I'd love to teach you a little bit more. I'm always here to support you. Go and be legendary.